History of Hans Richter. Hans Richter is a German Dada painter, graphic artist, and film producer. He was born in Germany in 1888. In 1908 Richter entered the Academy of Fine Art in Berlin, and the following year the Academy of Fine Art in Weimar. Richter's first contacts with modern art were in 1912 through the Blauer Reiter and in 1913 through the Erste Deutsche Arbstsalon Galerie der Sturm, in Berlin. In 1914 he was influenced by Cubism. Richter believed that the artist's duty was to be politically active by opposing war and supporting revolution. Throughout his career, Richter claimed that his 1921 film, Rotmus 21, was the first abstract film ever created, but in fact it was preceded by the Italian futurist films by Bruno Cora and Arnaldo, as well as by fellow German artist Walter Ruttmann, who produced Lichtspiel Opus 1 in 1920. In 1933, the Nazis ransacked Richter's studio in Berlin, confiscating or destroying his work. He was stripped of his German citizenship and labeled a degenerate artist and cultural Bolshevik. After attempting, in vain, to make an anti-Nazi film in the Soviet Union in 1931 to 1932, Richter traveled around Europe. He worked for Philips in Holland and made commissioned films in Switzerland. Richter moved from Switzerland to the United States in 1940 and became an American citizen. He worked for Philips in Holland and made commissioned films in Switzerland. Richter moved from Switzerland to the United States in 1940 and became an American citizen. Beginning in 1941 he taught at the Institute of Film Techniques at the City College of New York before taking over as director. While living in New York City, Richter directed two feature films, Dreams That Money Can Buy and 8x8, a chess sonata in 8 movements in collaboration with Max Ernst, Jean Cocteau, Paul Bowles, Fernand Léger, Alexander Calder, Marcel Duchamp, and others, which was partially filmed on the lawn of his summer house in Southbury, Connecticut. Rotmus 21. This incredibly influential early abstract animation was the result of Richter and his partner Viking Egeling's foray from the static canvas to a moving one. Lasting only 3 minutes, the film shows squares and rectangles moving across and within the flat plane of the screen in a mesmerizing rhythm. They move forward, backward, vertically, and horizontally. The theme is of contrast, of size, light, and angle, of positive to negative, from black to white, foreground to background, and of change. The forms grow, break apart, and finally fuse together into pure light. Everything is interaction, there is no narrative to speak of, though the ceaseless interplay of forms does have a dramatic quality, like a cosmic clash, with one shape seeming to dominate.
Music was an important part of Richter's films. Darius Milhaud, Paul Hindemith, Paul Bowles, and Robert Abramson are among the many composers with whom Richter collaborated throughout his filmmaking career. Indeed, Richter saw his films in musical terms, noting, "I made my paper rectangles and squares grow and disappear, jump and slide in well-articulated time spaces and planned rhythms." It was visual music, as Richter put it, the articulation of time instead of the articulation of form. Dreams Money Can Buy. Dreams Money Can Buy. In this stunning full-length experimental film, the protagonist sees his dreams reflected in his eyes and realizes if you can look inside yourself, you can look inside anyone. As such, he sets out to sell dreams. It features 7 dream sequences by Fernand Léger, Alexander Calder, Marcel Duchamp, Max Ernst, Man Ray, and Richter himself, which explore fantasy and desire, to an innovative score by Louis Applebaum, Paul Bowles, and John Cage. Although the film dealt with dreams, and featured surrealists, André Breton did not accept it as truly surrealist due to its narrative. Commenting on the film, Richter said it was made with "my old friends from our beloved but bereaved Europe, Calder, Duchamp, Max Ernst, and Man Ray, the cooperation of 2 Americans, 2 Frenchmen and 2 Germans, in the then cultural center of the free world." Vermittagspuk aka Ghost Before Breakfast. In this short film Richter shifted from the abstract animation of Rotmus 21, 1921, to pioneer a dazzling technical skill. He created a world where objects are also people and follow their own laws. He created a world where objects are also people and follow their own laws. Flying hats, teacups, beards, appear and disappear, objects and human characters move in reverse. Richter uses trick shots, overlays, and fast motion to make trees bloom. He uses slow motion to show teacups crashing to the floor, reverse motion to show water retreating back into a hose. He revisits his obsession, as seen in the earlier Dada Heads series, with counterpoint and opposites through light/shadow, negative/positive, and superimposition. Inflation, 1928, is an experimental silent film at 8 minutes which is sometimes categorized as a documentary. By now Richter is well beyond playing with light and shadow. Inflation explores the subject of money through photographs and with stop-motion animation techniques, adding faces of people impoverished and enriched by the unpredictability of finance. It functions almost as a political cartoon in motion, building to a chaotic and catastrophic climax. Profoundly influenced by music, Richter was able to capture the rhythmic nature of abstract forms in paintings, drawings, and films, and to synthesize the oppositions of dark and light, and organic and geometric shapes by using counterpoint like a musician. Richter also collaborated with major composers of his time and considered their scores essential to his films, pioneering the fusion of image and sound in cinema. Though Richter made both representational and abstract art, he created an abstract visual language that was universal, able to convey not only aesthetic experience but revolutionary political ideas as well. He transcended 19th-century concepts of painting through film, setting static shapes into visual movement. This dynamism of film, made possible through new technology, for him embodied modernity itself. Richter used a synthesis of abstract forms, Dadaist collage, and the ancient medium of scrolls to create epics of contemporary history, despite the fact that many modernist artists considered history painting to be outmoded. Legacy of Hans Richter. Richter's extraordinary artistic career pioneered and established film as an art form. His vision and experiments in mixed media and collaborative artistry blended painting, music, film, and art. His work as an artist and theoretician influenced practically all of the seminal movements of 20th-century avant-garde art, including Dada, Suprematism, Constructivism, and Surrealism. In fact, Richter's work synthesized the two seemingly contradictory goals of modernism, the liberation from rational thought of Dada and Surrealism, and the rational goal-oriented creativity, L. Lissitzky, of hard-edged constructivism, reconciling the Dionysian and Apollonian extremes. It is in the medium film however that he went furthest, creating some of the earliest fully abstract cinema, exploring and articulating film's uniqueness as a form independent of painting. As a pioneer of film, Richter mentored generations of filmmakers such as Stanley Kubrick, William Greaves, Jonas Mekas, Shirley Clark, and Ken Jacobs. David Lynch cited Dreams That Money Can Buy as one of his favorite movies. Richter's experimental blend of visual/audio pioneered the mixed media arts of today. The project Rescoring Richter is rescoring his silent films, bringing new soundscapes to Richter's original vision, and continuing his passion for artistic collaboration.
My thoughts? I like to think this dude was a very influential person. He inspired a numerous amount of current directors and artists. His work speaks for himself and he did what he was supposed to do. Push the envelope. That's all I ask for. D&T succumb to the zeitgeist.